talk about something nobody wants to say out loud, Gen Z burnout. And we're not even 30 yet. So imagine that. Not because we're lazy or we don't want to succeed. I think nowadays stability is just feeling a little bit harder to reach.
Yes, so welcome to the From Zero podcast. This, of course, isn't a victim story or even a complaining episode. This is just us calling it out as it is. The burnout is real. We're going to talk in this podcast about how it affects the way we live, the way that we work, even how we build our future, where it actually comes from, and how building stability, even in raw state, can play a huge role in it.
Yeah. So let's start by first talking about how burnout actually looks like and how a burnout actually looks like and how it shows up um, the ways we don't expect. So a stat says that 46% of Gen Z say that they feel burned out most of the time. So what is that feeling? A lot of people feel like they're not resting, brain fog, low motivation, and day to day they're not feeling productive. Such thing as doom scrolling. I think nowadays we see that, and is the most common way that it appears when you're just doom scrolling, and your brain ends up feeling exhausted from it.
Yeah, I think so too. It's just, I have a huge problem with doom scrolling. If I'm being honest, it's just that one of those moments where you want to get away from everything, and so you just like, oh, I'm just gonna look on my phone for like 10 minutes, and then it just ends up being an hour of you just watching TikToks and everything. So,
Yeah.
but how does this burnout show up in your life personally?
Well, I think through doom scrolling as well. So when my son takes a nap, instead of doing the productive things that I said I was going to do, such as like whether it's with real estate or washing the dishes or getting some stuff around the house, I end up sitting on the couch doom scrolling. And as soon as he wakes up, it's just full attention to him, and I get that guilty feeling of like, girl, you should have been focused on what you were gonna do. And I end up just feeling overwhelmed because now I have to pay attention to him, and I also need to get the stuff that I was supposed to get done while he was napping. Another way I feel like it shows up in my life is the constant needing to do something, having that like mental list of like, okay, I have to get up, I have to pack lunch, I have to do the dishes, mopping, brooming, I have to make my calls, I have to send out the emails, I have to go with the market update. So what's the next thing that has to get done? And I fall asleep with that mentality of like that list. So as soon as I wake up, it's not the healthiest thing, because I'm just wake up to feeling exhausted and overwhelmed. And that's how my day starts. So how about you? How does it feel?
I think for me, it's kind of similar too. It doesn't come from lack of effort. I mean, I think I'm pretty productive most of my days.
Yeah.
But I just think it comes from too many decisions, too many unknowns, and just having so many things in my head and trying to do so many things at once. And I feel like I get nothing done, even though I probably was pretty productive most of the day, but I do something here, and then I do a little bit of this, and then I go back to this. So I think one of those things that helped me, for me personally, is just kind of like getting clear on my systems of what needs to get done, my time, my money, my goals. Time blocking is a huge one, and I think ultimately AI. In the last episode, I talked about how much I loved AI and how much I love ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And I think it just helped me in many ways organize my time in terms of like what workouts do I need to do? What do I need to, and a set list of what I need to do in the day, what I need to do first, second, third, fourth, fifth. So I think AI has personally helped me a lot to take away the little stuff that I have to do every day and just get that away from the productive stuff, I guess I would say, just like the little stuff.
Yeah. So. Okay. So now that we kind of know those emotions, or that feeling of we get a little brain fog. Okay, brain fog. And then we do feel even anxious throughout the day. How you were mentioning, you have so many tasks that you have to sometimes get done, and you do them, but you don't finish them. So then that just adds on to the next day. that feels very overwhelming. So let's kind of see what we can do to clear up that brain fog and anxiety that sometimes builds through the day, and we just get overstimulated with all these tasks that we have to get done.
Yeah. So let's kind of talk about the why Gen Z is having a burnout. I think not many people talk about it. People assume that we don't have a burnout, but I think we do. I mean, one of the big reasons why Gen Z has that burnout is the cost of living. Man, it's freaking expensive nowadays with inflation and
we have mentioned this in like the first episode, but it's such a real thing.
People need 2 to 3 incomes, and many like nearly half of the adult Gen Z are struggling, and they need to live paycheck to paycheck in order to survive, and they can just barely get the necessities, the rent and food, and it's kind of hard to do anything else because it's like, well, I don't have enough money. Like I have to work.
Yeah. So it says nearly half of adult Gen Z say that they are struggling to meet the basic needs or living paycheck to paycheck. That's crazy. I know that in my personal life, that's something crazy that we're going through and struggling through right now is finance. Because as a real estate agent, you're not paycheck to paycheck, but your commission is, you can have 5 commissions in 1 month and then have nothing for 6 months. And so my husband does work a stable job. He has a stable job, but he's the one that's providing and worrying about all that and such. We just got insurance, health insurance, and we had never done that before. And that's also another thing that we have to also start budgeting and looking at, and that's taking out of my our paycheck. So and we have thought like maybe we do need that second job. It's hard not to have that extra income, not want that extra income, because you don't really get to enjoy life because we're just going based off
paycheck to paycheck. Yeah. And I think that's something that not many people talk about as entrepreneurs, is the fact that you don't have that set income, that stable income. So I think it's a lot harder for entrepreneurs to, especially nowadays, like you have to be hustling and everything, because another stat is like 50% of Gen Z adults are earning income outside of their primary job. So you can just see how much inflation has impacted the way that we work. And we just have to always keep moving. And that social media pressure that we get too, of comparing ourselves to the TikTok influencers and everything, and just trying to live up to how they're living. And you just see how it kind of looks like they have the life. It's like super easy, like, because all they have to do is record, and we're stuck working like jobs and everything. But it's hard to get away from that pressure to be successful and everything. And I think that plays a big role in the burnout of seeing how like it feels like we're not going anywhere. And for many Gen Z.
I think we just start comparing ourselves, or it doesn't have to be an influencer. It could just be your friend posting a cute picture on Snapchat, or Instagram, and that purse or whatever, the shoes or anything that is materialistic at the end of the day. And you are like, whoa, how did she get that? Or I want that, or I've been wanting that. And that jealousy kind of builds up. But I know it says that 87% of Gen Z say social media has a negative impact on their mental health, and 83% say content makes them feel pressure to be perfect. And that's such a key word, perfect. Always wanting to be perfect in a life that you can never reach perfection. I know for me, as a mom, I would go into TikTok and start looking at these what I thought were perfect moms, and I wanted to be that perfect mom and follow their routine and do what they are doing, because it seemed like they had it together. But behind that screen, you'd never know what their life actually looks like. So that becomes exhausting.
It does.
And trying to be that perfect image for in your life, that's not really the goal you should be reaching.
That comparison of like you said, they just show what's the pretty side, and they don't
Mhm.
show what's on the background of the kids crying and screaming
Yeah.
and all of this
Yeah.
noise outside and
Exactly.
everything.
Mhm.
I think another big reason why we have this, or why the Gen Z burnout exists, is because we don't have a clear timeline
Mhm.
anymore. It's not the school, job, and house,
Mhm.
buying a house. It doesn't feel automatic. I think another few big reasons why of the Gen Z burnout is because I don't think we got a clear entry into adulthood. We stepped into the workforce during COVID.
Yeah.
COVID was a huge thing in 2020,
Mhm.
2021. Those few years, it was just absolutely crazy. I
Yeah.
mean, what were you doing during COVID?
I was in college. I did, I think, only my first year in college. I did community college, and then for my second year, um, I it was online. Everything was online. That's when COVID happened, and I didn't know what my classes even were about anymore because I was just trying to push through and get my degree. But I felt like personally, it just took a toll on like what is it that I'm even doing? What is it that I want to become? Where do I want to go from here? How about for you? Where were you at? What were you doing?
I think I was in that phase of getting into the workforce. I was getting my real estate license. I was 18, doing my real estate courses online. So, I mean,
That's tough.
at that point, I was already homeschooled, but I was looking forward to that idea of meeting new people, getting their license too. But
Mhm.
instead, I was stuck on Zoom with a teacher for 90 hours, just sitting in my room and just trying to focus.
Mhm.
And I think that affected the way that I took the test too, because I did not pass the first time. So, but it did take a lot of my mental health, I think,
Mhm.
just to be home. And I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't go to the gym because it was closed. You couldn't even go to church. You couldn't walk outside to the grocery store normal without a mask. So I think
Mhm.
that played a big role in how Gen Z grew up and the impact that it had in our personal lives, and that burnout.
Yeah.
And that, I think, it also increased that guilt and for like wanting to rest, and
Mhm.
it increased that low motivation and feeling busy but not productive. And it's just like, yeah, it was just so many things all at once, and
Yeah.
having to be home, and that transition from being at home to being outside. So after COVID, it kind of just like everything tried to transition back to normal,
Mhm.
but it's
What's
weird.
normal?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's that normal?
Yeah.
You
I
know?
definitely get that. My sister-in-law, she actually I just thought it was crazy, and I would see this online, people posting, their graduations from high school, and it was, them just in the car driving with posters and celebrating, but that's tough.
Yeah.
Even prom, like, they weren't able to go to prom, and for me, I loved my prom. I went with, a few girlfriends, and, we had, after prom, it was like we had the Sinaloa-styled hot dogs, and that was so good, and, like, I really enjoyed that, so it sucks that they weren't able to, create those memories. So then, back to what you were saying, like, going into not being able to have all these and then just okay, do it all online, and then transitioning into society, as in
Yeah.
doing university or going into work. That's like your brain has to adapt to it and just get into it, but it's hard when you've been, for that little bit of time, you've just been, this is what I do, this is the life, and how can I move
Yeah.
on from this? Yeah.
Yeah, it was really hard to have a social life outside of during COVID, just being at home, and then all of a sudden everything's back to normal. You can go hang out with your friends, but it's like, how do you transition normally from being at home working? Many people worked from home too,
Mhm.
doing Zoom and all that stuff, and then actually it's like, okay, now everything, like, COVID's gone, you guys can go out, and it's like, oh, okay, am I ready for that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I had my graduation in a parking lot, so
Yeah,
it wasn't
that's
any
not
fun,
fun.
but actually a lot of people would disagree about the Gen Z burnout. A lot of millennials and a lot of Gen X, like my dad, are actually more likely to view Gen Z as less resilient,
Mhm.
or like, how would you word it? Like, more soft.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
but
I see that that there's a different. I think we even get made fun of for it sometimes.
all the time, they're like, "Oh, you're so soft," And I've heard this quote. My dad quotes it a lot. I don't even know what he is. I think he's like a millennial,
Mhm.
But he says that some people say that depression is a luxury of the West, and that the Gen Z burnout is ridiculous and that it doesn't exist. But I kind of want to know. I want to ask the audience, what do you think? Like, do older generations, do they think that Gen Z is soft, or do you guys just underestimate how different the economic and social pressure is now compared to how it was back then?
Yeah. Because both of our parents are immigrants.
Yeah.
And we were wanting to mention as well that they come from that like hard working life, nonstop, 24/7, just do whatever it is to provide. And they might see it as like, well, I don't have the time to be depressed.
Yeah.
What is that? Like,
Doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. No.
Yeah.
And then for us, it's been maybe because of COVID, we had that time to get depressed.
Yeah, just being at home and
yeah.
And
I think it's not even maybe Gen Z, but a lot of people experience that. What do we do? And a lot of actually I had seen like divorce and separation because you were with your partner 24/7 during COVID.
Yeah.
That's something different. And that happened. And like, so all of this builds up to like what is it now? Like, how do we do better from this?
Absolutely.
But yeah, I don't know. Do you think that this is it is true that we're soft?
I don't know.
We're biased because we're Gen Z and we don't think we're soft?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think people tend to exaggerate a little bit. I think they tend to be like victimize themselves a little bit too much, to the point where like they're victims for everything. Like, oh, I can't do this because of COVID, or I can't do this because of this. When instead, like, if you put more time and effort and you set clear goals, I think you can do them both,
even just like the working out. No, there was no gyms, but you can do it at home.
So finding ways around these situations, instead of just like, oh, I can't do this, I'm gonna give up, so I think we tend to exaggerate a little bit. But I also think it's real. I think inflation has played a huge role. I think COVID has played a huge role in how we grow up. Even technology and social media. A lot of
AI.
A lot of millennials and Gen X didn't have the type of technology that we do now. So it's kind of hard to compare. Or
social media. Yeah,
absolutely. So, I mean, I don't know. So what do you guys think?
I
want to know your opinion. Is it real, or are we just making it up and we're being ridiculous? And this whole podcast is for nothing.
Okay, so so now that we talked about the symptoms, kind of we want to go into, and we talked about the symptoms, and then we kind of clarified how that came from and where that came from. What is the solution? What can we do to do better?
Yeah, because again, I don't think we should victimize ourselves. I think it's real, but I think there are also solutions that we can do to improve our well-being and our burnout. So
so I think the first step would be not to ignore it, and just be open-minded to the solution and what we can do. So we had mentioned we came both from immigrant parents, and I think they didn't, in my perspective, in my what I think is that our immigrant parents didn't have that choice, but also I feel like they were ignoring it. I think they could feel irritated, anxious, or maybe even depressed, and they just ignored it because they had to keep going to provide. I don't know.
I also think that maybe it's because they just didn't want to show it, like my dad is very traditional and very macho and very into the whole manly thing, I guess. And so the idea of being upset or sad or showing your emotions was never a thing for him. So, growing up, I never saw him anything other than happy, I guess.
Yeah.
And so they just, I think they were really good at hiding it too.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that. They're good at hiding it. Same. My dad, the only time I saw him cry was my grandpa passed away, and it was just like a few tears.
Yeah.
And I'm sure deep inside they're hurt and they're
Mhm.
feeling it, but I think they're just too scared to show that that emotion or that side of them, because they're scared of how we're gonna react, or that we're gonna feel bad for them. And I think that's one thing maybe Gen Z has done is it's okay to feel sad, and it's okay to be angry, and it's okay to show it.
Feel
But it's not,
anxious.
yeah, exactly. But don't stay there, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's okay to have your pity party. I mean, I have mine here and there because you maybe need it in that moment. But
Yeah.
just getting out from there and being like, okay, I had it. What do I do? How do I move forward?
Yeah, same, like, don't just stay, like you said, like, don't get stuck in it. So like, oh, like I'm feeling this burnout. Okay, now what are we gonna do to improve it? You know, not just staying in the same position that we're in and victimizing ourselves. Like, again, we're not trying to victimize ourselves in this podcast, but we're just trying to show you that, okay, it's real. Now what are we gonna do to improve it? You know, because there's always a solution to every problem, you know. So
yeah. And one way to do that, I think, is rest and holding your boundaries. Putting boundaries with work, and me as a realtor, I think that's one thing I need to do. We don't have a set schedule. We're on 24/7. If somebody gets a call, you know, you got to pick up because it could be a client. But there is times for that, and there is like time blocking of, you know, Fridays, you know, whether it's Family Friday, and like we're setting that whole day or that evening just for the family, and not getting, if you get a call, you know, you can send that message, not right now, or talk to you tomorrow morning, or schedule it. But yeah, setting boundaries. And then from work, whether it's from family, whether it's from your phone as well, so that you can actually take that deep breath and really rest.
Yeah, I think for me, it's my phone mostly. Like, I feel I use it as a way to reset, but in reality, I'm just doom scrolling. So, you know, it's not an actual reset.
It's not an actual reset.
Yeah. So just put that phone away and just
Yeah.
read a book, you know?
Honestly, or even from, it sounds messed up, but people, like there's certain people in your life that take energy away from you instead of giving you good energy. So setting those boundaries of like limiting how much time you can even spend with that people, because then you get that anxiousness from them, or you know, you get more stressed out or overwhelmed or overstimulated. So setting that boundary with family and friends.
Who you surround yourself with is absolutely important. You know, you don't want people that just add to your pity party, you know, like telling you like, oh yeah, like stay depressed, you know. You want people to uplift you and say like, you know what, I see you. How are we gonna improve it? You know, I'm gonna help you, you know, instead of just like definitely adding to it. Like, yeah, we don't need more people in the pity party. Just
And then you take setting that reset, take that really take that time without feeling guilty. And how you said, you know, you with the phone, like doom scrolling, even I do it. But what's another way that you can do it? Finding different, I don't know, hobbies, other things that interest you. That is a reset for you to get back into it. Because as soon as you have that good reset, with that good rest, then you can go back into your job, go back into your life, and really I guess, put more detail and care into what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Another stat that we found was that predictable routines are associated with lower stress and better mental health outcomes. So just creating a simple routine throughout your day of eating, sleeping, moving your body, just those basic things, I think will help so much. Like, okay, this is the time I'm going to sleep between 9:30 and 6 in the morning. I'm going to eat my breakfast at 8, lunch at 12, dinner at 5. You know, I'm going to exercise at this time. And just the basic things, setting a good routine. That way you feel more stable instead of having an unstructured the way you structure your time and your money, it just increases anxiety if you don't set boundaries like we were talking about and creating those simple routines,
Yep. So do that weekly, maybe doing that weekly check-in or monthly check-in of your bills that you have to pay or your goals that you have to meet, and then time blocking.
That one's a huge one.
Yeah,
I
really
think.
just time blocking anything, whether you eat, what you have to get done for work, what time you got to drop off your kids or pick them up, any little thing like that. I think time blocking is a very good tip that you can do for your life.
Absolutely, especially as entrepreneurs, like you said, we don't have a set schedule as agents. So like, okay, I'm gonna work from this time to this time, and the rest I'm just gonna leave it for something else, just like I'm gonna set an hour for the gym, and for this hour I'm not gonna answer phone calls or anything. I'll get back to them as soon as possible, but this time is just gonna be for me, so I think that's a big one.
Yeah, I know that I've called you before and you're at the gym and you don't answer, and that's not a bad thing. That's your time, and that could even be your time to reset or to feel better. So yeah, like really dedicating, and like we mentioned, the boundaries, setting those boundaries so that you can have that good reset. So, and then another thing would be the small wins.
Yeah.
Appreciate and congratulate yourself. Enjoy those small wins so that you are more likely to continue that time blocking or that weekly or monthly goal checkup.
Yeah. Burnout doesn't always have to do a lot with work. I just feel like it's just too many decisions all at once. So I think if you plan your routine properly, you appreciate those small wins throughout the day, I feel like that would better your outcome in life, I guess.
This thing that we're doing every day.
Yeah.
So it says here, a quick stat: the average adult makes 35,000 decisions per day, and 28% of Gen Z say they lack the confidence in financial skill. So one way that we can do that is just getting clear numbers down to what I think, even down to what you pay for your Netflix account, or whatever other app that you're using that is subscription. Looking into that and sitting down and noting, okay, this day is the water bill, this day is electricity, this day is the Netflix, and having that scheduled out so that you have a peace of mind of when that paycheck shows up, that you know exactly where that's going to go into. For me, I think even for I was going to say the savings as well. Sometimes, you feel like, what, it didn't reach in the savings, but maybe putting a $50 into your savings, $10 into your savings. And we have in my bank, in my husband's bank, where it pulls out from his checkings account $100 each month, and it just goes automatically into his savings. And that's one way that he knows that, okay, something went into my savings. And you can automatically change that into something smaller if you feel like I'm not able to reach that amount. But I feel like that'll give you a peace of mind and clarity of how to manage your money a bit more.
Yeah, I think the goal overall is to reduce the amount of decisions that we have to do every day. And so by doing these little things, it reduces those little things that we have to do each day. Like, okay, I have to pull money from here to here. I don't know where my money is going. And just, I think these little simple tips, I think, would help reduce those decisions, and then therefore reducing the burnout that I think Gen Z is experiencing. And using AI. I use AI for everything. So I'm just going to keep saying that AI is your best friend. So use that to reduce.
I need to start using it a little. I don't use it. I don't tell it my personal stuff. But maybe I should. Maybe I should get a little more connected to AI.
I was telling her that it's my therapist too. It's my everything.
Does she have a name?
No, not yet. We're not on. I don't have a name.
We're not at that level yet.
Yeah, not yet. But I use it for everything. My personal life, my business life especially. I think it's helped me so much, especially in the business side, to where I have a CRM, and every month we have 35 agents. So for half of those agents, I have to put leads into their system, and having to do that manually and convert them, it just takes so much. So what did I do? I used ChatGPT, created a GPT. I uploaded what I needed it to do, and it takes me like 5 minutes now to put hundreds of leads into the accounts of 35 agents. So, it just removes those little daily activities that I have to do every day, and just reduces the amount of stress that I have to take on, because all it takes me is 5 minutes,
Yeah. So the goal here is to make this a long-term win, not just let me get through the week.
Yeah, because I think that's what we feel a lot as Gen Z, is just like we're just trying to get through the week, and just like
and there's
like-
moments that you may still feel like that. That's okay. Even if you take all these tips and you put everything into it, you're gonna feel like that occasionally, and that's okay because we're human.
Yeah. So, but how does this essentially tie into real estate? I think not many people talk about that, of how the Gen Z could possibly affect our goals of buying a house. I think an example would be how people tend to delay because they feel like they're never ready. Did you feel ready when you bought your house?
No, we just did it. We really didn't feel ready. We just did it to do it. And I know that's like not the best. Maybe you may feel like it's not the best way to do it, but sometimes it's the only way to get you where you need to do, to get you to where you need to be. Is just doing it to do it.
Yeah, just do it.
Just do it, like Nike says.
Yeah. I also think that people have this idea that you have to have perfect finances to buy a house, and that is not true. You can, even if it's just going to a lender and asking them like, hey, what do I need to do to qualify to start getting ready for the next step, just asking questions. I think that's super important, finding people that you trust to say like, hey, I have a question, can you help me, like, can I qualify with this? And some people are actually surprised that they actually qualify,
Oh yeah, there's a lot of those. My first deal was that she didn't expect for her to be able to qualify that, because she had a lot of agents, a lot of lenders denying her, saying that she doesn't make enough to qualify. And I think one thing is that I think people expect to be making a lot of money because they want that nice home, and sometimes that isn't the case. Maybe just starting off with a simple 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom home to get you started, and moving on from that eventually.
Yeah, I think a lot of people expect to get that $1 million home right away. That's not.
Yeah, that's not the case.
That's not realistic,
That's
so
not realistic.
Set realistic goals, start off small, like you said, getting that 2-bed, 1-bath, building that, we were talking about it last time, that that equity, selling it, buying something bigger, and you just start small, and it doesn't have to be that $1 million house, we're gonna get there eventually, but invest in those small properties.
Yes, and so then you kind of get stuck in this renting for year after year. And so I have a few buyers that are going to be ready in this year, but they were renting for the past years, and their lease expires in 2 months, and they want to be qualified now and be ready now. And like how we were mentioning, that's not the reality. I mean, unless you have a really good income, really good credit, and no debt, and that you're going to be ready in the next day if you were to talk to a lender and get pre-qualified. But in many cases, you need at least, I would suggest, 6 months, maybe talk to a lender ahead of time to see where you're at, even if you're not ready to buy after those 6 months, but just getting an overall view of where you're at, so that when you want to take that 6 month, take that next step to buy, whether it's in a year or two, you at least know kind of where you're at. But just suggesting that if you know that your lease is going to expire, at least 6 months, 3 months, maybe 5 months ahead of time, start planning ahead. And just because you talk to one lender and one real estate agent doesn't mean you have to stick to them.
No,
find
to
a
us.
yeah, just
hire us.
come with Home Pros.
Yeah.
But no, that's, I mean, it's like trying on clothes. You go to a clothing store, you try on clothes, you look at the mirror. I don't like this. This doesn't fit me. This doesn't suit me. And then you go ahead and try something else until it suits you.
Mhm.
So that's the same with a lender and a realtor. Look around and see what actually suits you and fits you the best, so that you even feel more comfortable when that process starts. And I think also a realtor that is realistic with you and setting those goals definitely will help for the long run.
Yeah, because I think that goes back to the idea of feeling overwhelmed by the process. A lot of people tend to like go to you 1 month before their lease ends, and just feeling so overwhelmed because now they have to do all of these steps,
Right.
you know. So
you
just
have to get a cosigner, or your credit needs to get checked,
improve and
yeah.
all that stuff. So that finding someone that's going to guide you through that process, because I mean, buying a house is a huge thing, you know.
Oh,
So
yeah.
obviously it takes a lot of steps, but having someone to guide you through each step of getting pre-qualified, and then from there start seeing houses, and then when you see the houses, knowing the market, like, okay, what is the best strategy of putting an offer, and then you go under contract, and then you have inspections, appraisals, and just so many things that goes into the process of having to needing to buy a house, you know. So just finding that agent and that lender that's going to help you through the process, I think, reduces that burnout of and that anxious feeling of like, oh my goodness, like there's so much stuff I have to do and everything, you know. So the goal of an agent is to help you feel confident in knowing that everything's going to get done. And I guess our goal is to make sure it goes as smooth as possible, you know, for
stress
you.
as possible. Yeah. Okay, so we have a little end of the what would you say, podcast question. What's one thing in your life you're ready to add structure to?
I think I'm ready to add more structure to when it comes to business. I think I already have a structure, but same thing, I lack that time blocking, you know, and making sure I get stuff done. I tend to, I don't know if it's ADHD or something, but it's like I go from one thing, I work on it for 5 minutes, and then I move to something else. And then I don't get the thing that I started with first done, and then I have to go back, and then I don't finish it, so I have to do it the next day, you know. And it's just like the little stuff that I have to do every day that just kind of overwhelms me at times. Like, okay, I have to do this, and then I don't finish this next, you know. So it's like I think I'm ready to add structure to, I guess, my time. I think I would say my time overall. Yeah.
My husband has ADHD.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like he has ADHD, and it's like that. Oh, I'm not like that. I like, once I get one thing, I'm working on one thing, I have to get it done, and I move on to the next. But he's not like that. He's like either working on the chicken coop, and then he like slacks off and is now working in the storage and cleaning it up, and then he comes back inside, and then he goes outside, and then he's like, now I'm playing with the dog, and I'm just like, what are you supposed to be doing? Or I'm gonna clean the backyard, and I'm just like, it looks the same to me. What is this?
That's literally me. Like, I can't get like, it takes me all day to get at least one simple thing done, you know, because I just go back and forth, and like it just pops in my head like, oh, I forgot to do this. Let me do this real quick, and then I don't finish it, you know. So I think, I don't know who can relate to that, but
no, I think a lot of people. My husband's one of them that can relate for sure.
Yeah, but I'm glad that you're structured, because I'm not.
Yeah.
You know, that's why we make a good team.
Yeah,
one's unstructured, one's structured, you know, so we help each other out.
Yeah, but I think for me, and I think I've been struggling with this for some time, is personal life and real estate life, and how to combine it, and how to setting those boundaries and really like sticking to it, because then I end up not fully dedicating my time to one thing, in the sense that I'm not fully present doing that, whether it's with my son or in real estate, because I'm thinking about my son. I'm just like, oh, I didn't do this, or I didn't play with him, or whatever. I need to just be a little bit more present on the things that I have structured or time blocked out.
Yeah. So,
in conclusion,
So, okay, so I don't know. Okay.
First, so burnout doesn't mean you're lazy or that you don't want to succeed. Just really taking accountability for where you're at in life and how you want to reach those goals, and time blocking and setting up a good schedule for yourself to reach where you want to be in life. And like we mentioned, this isn't a pity story or a feeling guilty about ourselves. It's just clarifying and how we can become better in
Yeah.
Everyday life.
Yeah. So I think that's it for today. So make
Yeah.
sure you guys, like, subscribe, share, follow,
Yeah.
and we'll see you next time.
Wait, I have one more thing.
Okay.
So I am really curious to know if people out there think Gen Z are too soft, and
That would be interesting.
Yeah,
We should put a poll. Like,
yeah. Oh, we should.
yeah, like, what do you think? Is Gen Z being exaggerating,
Yeah.
or is it real?
Yeah.
So
Thank you guys so much for watching.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.